One time, I got into a heated argument with a colleague at work. It all started during a team meeting where we were discussing a project we were working on. We had different opinions on how to approach a particular issue, and the discussion quickly turned into an argument. As the argument progressed, I started to feel frustrated and angry because I felt like my colleague wasn't listening to me. I thought they were being stubborn and unwilling to consider my perspective. So, I doubled down and started arguing even more passionately. As the argument continued, it became clear that something was off. We were both getting more and more upset, but we still weren't making any progress in finding a solution. It wasn't until one of our other colleagues interjected and asked us to clarify what we were each arguing for that we realized we were actually talking about completely different things. I was arguing for one particular strategy to solve the problem, while my colleague was arguing for a different strategy that they thought would work better. We had both assumed that we were on the same page about the problem we were trying to solve, but we had completely different ideas about what that problem actually was. Once we realized this, the tension in the room immediately dissipated. We both felt a bit silly for getting so worked up over a miscommunication, but we were also relieved to finally understand each other's perspectives. We were able to have a much more productive conversation once we were all on the same page. Looking back on the experience, I realized that it was a good lesson in communication. It's easy to assume that everyone is on the same page when you're discussing a problem, but it's important to take the time to make sure you're all actually talking about the same thing. If we had taken a step back earlier in the conversation to clarify our goals, we could have avoided a lot of frustration and stress. In the end, I was grateful for the experience because it helped me become more mindful of how I communicate with others. I learned that it's always worth taking the time to clarify my thoughts and make sure that I understand where other people are coming from before I start arguing my point. It's a small but important lesson that has helped me in both my personal and professional relationships.